Hey, I'm Amanda from Trifecta Fitness. We're proud to be Clarksville's new Get Fit headquarters. Trifecta Fitness is a state-of-the-art spin and strength training studio. Our spin studio is truly one of a kind in this area, complete with 20 state-of-the-art live fitness bikes and an incredible sound system. Our strength training is done in small groups of 6 or fewer, and all of our strength and spin classes are scalable for every level of experience. Come see us in the heart of Clarksville, just behind MAPCO at the corner of Old Trenton Road and Wilma Rudolph Boulevard. Call us for more info at 931-542-6265 or download our Trifecta Fitness app for a full list of upcoming classes.
In October 2019, Arlington, Texas was chosen to be the home of a new national museum, unlike any other. The National Medal of Honor Museum will be a unique home of military history. The 100,000 square foot museum will house exhibits, archives, and artifacts relating to the 3,500 U.S. troops who have been awarded the medal, the nation's highest honor for valor in combat. The museum will have 31,000 square feet of galleries dedicated to U.S. troops who have received the award. The museum CEO, former Navy SEAL and NASA astronaut Chris Cassidy, said the museum will focus on education as much as preservation. The building will have 5 areas dedicated to Medal of Honor winners from the Army, Marine Corps, Navy, Air Force, and Coast Guard. The main gallery will be located in a central plaza under a 25,000 square foot slab of steel, which will appear to be suspended in midair. It will be supported by 5 pillars. Black Rifle Coffee is a corporate sponsor of the museum, as are the Dallas Cowboys. The museum's board also includes over a dozen major corporations and 6 Medal of Honor recipients, including David Bellavia, Patrick Brady, and Britt Slabinski. Army Staff Sergeant Bellavia was awarded the medal for clearing an entire house by himself on November 10, 2004, as a squad leader in support of Operation Phantom Fury in Fallujah, Iraq. He killed 4 enemy fighters and wounded a 5th in close quarters battle. Army Major General Brady flew and coordinated the evacuation of 51 seriously wounded men during a firefight in Vietnam in January 1968. Slabinski, a Navy SEAL chief and team leader, led a rescue team of SEALs during Operation Anaconda in Afghanistan in March 2002. Slabinski and his team flew to a mountaintop ambush site to rescue Petty Officer First Class Neil Roberts, who had fallen from the back of a helicopter. Slabinski led the team through almost constant combat against an entrenched Taliban force. Along with the board members, former presidents Jimmy Carter, Bill Clinton, George W. Bush, and Barack Obama serve as honorary directors. The museum is expected to open to the public in late 2024.
All right. Welcome back. Misfit Nation. The Misfit Nation Show. We are a show founded by a veteran and hosted by 2 veterans and a military spouse. Our mission is to get people to tell their stories to the world. If you're an author, share your tips with the Misfit Nation. If you're a musician or an actor, our audience needs to know how they too can get into the business. Coaches, we love our coaches. Come on and share your tips with the Misfit Nation to help them become better versions of themselves. If you are a corporate leader or an entrepreneur, come on and show how you did it and how hard you have fought for success. If you are a veteran, first responder, or Gold Star family, we would love to have you come on and share your story with the Misfit Nation. We always have time for you. If you're feeling down, alone, or starting to see the darkness, stop. Think about those who are around you. You are not alone. You will be missed. If you feel like your problems will be a burden to those in your inner circle or feel embarrassed, dial 988. If you are a veteran, take option 1. We need you to keep pushing forward. Don't make a permanent solution to a temporary problem. If you are a new listener, welcome to the Misfit Nation Show. Be sure to subscribe to our show on your favorite podcast app. Also on our YouTube channel at @the_Misfit Nation. Subscribe and click the bell to keep you up to date on our latest episodes and all of our news. You can also find us on Heroes Media Group and About Face Radio. Now, let's get to the show!
All right. Welcome back to the Misfit Nation. After a great Tuesday cruise show with Eric Herrera as the guest the other night, tonight we have another one that's gonna amp you up and teach you new things. A lot of things going on in the world, of course, and as we dedicate our show to veterans and first responders, we have another hero down. Police Officer Kyle Hicks, Corpus Christi Police Department in Texas. His end of watch was yesterday, April 24th. So keep him and his family and his partners in the business in your hearts and prayers as you go forward throughout the rest of your day and your week. And thanks who do that job for us on a daily basis. I almost messed up that whole sentence right there. It's great. So tonight we have an awesome guest. She started out in emergency rooms to holistic conferences, from boardroom to classrooms. She inspires and empowers people to live a life of joy, happiness, excellent verbal communication. With over 40 years in healthcare, teaching and lifestyle coaching have taught her that the ability to really converse with and understand each other is paramount and the key to long-lasting, loving relationships. So without further ado, let's welcome Sharon Fillmore to the Misfit Nation. Welcome, Sharon.
Thank you, Rich. I am happy to be here, and my condolences to the family of the police officer that has passed away.
Appreciate that. I just gave a little tiny bit about your history, about your life right there. I know you've had a lot of steps on your journey. Tell the Misfit Nation a little bit more about you, from as far back as you want to go to how we got here.
How we got here. Oh, it's a long story, but I'll shorten it. I started out in nursing, and then I actually went to the U.S. and I worked in trauma centers in the U.S. and in ICUs. And then from there, I returned. I'm originally from Canada, so I returned home to my family, where I started teaching people in healthcare, particularly PSWs. And one day, I guess when I had my children, I went to a self-improvement course, and it was there that I realized that I had lots of work to do on myself. So over the years, I started taking courses to help improve, myself. And then when I was on one, I was helping the person beside me, and she said, "You're a coach." And I said, "Oh no, I'm not a coach." And the person running it said, "Oh, you're a coach." So then I started taking coaching courses and started my coaching program. And that's sort of how we got here. I am a lifelong learner, and don't think I've ever passed a year without taking something new. And I love people, and I love to see people grow. And that's one of the reasons why I love being a coach. So
That's outstanding. And I like the fact that when you were having your children, you learned that you had to be a better person and work on you a little bit more. And that led to where you are now. So that's a big step. A lot of people don't understand that. Like you said, lifelong learner. Myself, I'm still learning every day. Today, I'm having a hard time speaking. So lifelong learning how to speak today. But everyone, I think, as long as we keep learning, we'll keep, I guess, developing as humans, and we'll keep doing great things in life, and you won't get stagnant. When did you learn that communication is key to all this?
I think I always knew, and I thought I was a great communicator because I worked in emergency rooms and ICUs, and then I realized that I was actually a good interviewer. I was good at interviewing people to find out what their needs are and how I can help them. When I realized that how important communication was, and that what I thought was communication was really interview skills, was actually when my marriage split. And because I sat down and I thought, okay, what is the one common denominator in here? And when I realized it was communication, then I started taking communication courses from there. I decided that I was going to learn how to talk to people no matter how difficult the conversation was, because that was something we never had in our marriage, were difficult conversations. And so that's when I started my journey to learn the difference between interviewing someone and truly communicating with them. So,
And it's a big learning curve for a lot of people. I know doing the show has taught me to be a better interviewer. I didn't realize I was pretty good at interviewing before this through my career, having to interview people in the military and such. But that I didn't treat it as interview. I treated it as my job. And now doing this, learning to listen to people, to listen to hear instead of to speak, has taught me a lot more. 'Cause now I'm not just sitting here and yeah, whatever, and I'm listening to the words coming out of your mouth and trying to, I guess, digest them, make sure I understand them, and then I can come back with maybe a witty question or maybe something that just sounds off the wall. But I know, and like you said, watching your marriage go away because you didn't have those hard conversations. I'm sure you've had clients that have had the same problem. How do you get them to understand that, hey, this is very important to just sometimes you have to sit down and have that adult conversation, and you may not be comfortable, but how do you get them to do
um, there's different ways of doing it. I think that one of the ways that really works well is to actually make an appointment. I know it sounds strange, but when you're having when you need to have a very difficult conversation, actually think of it as a brave conversation. I have a friend that says they're brave conversations, which is true. You're making an appointment. You're saying, we're going to sit down. We're going to talk about this because it's difficult for us and we want to be brave and we want to get to the bottom of this. And majority of the time, it's just people have different thought processes, different belief systems, and we misinterpret the cues from the other person all the time. How many times did you assume someone meant something, and then when you sat down and had a conversation, you realized they didn't mean that at all? They meant something else. And it's having those conversations that helps you with that. So setting a an appointment. If you need to talk about it right away and you're really upset, I have this little trick that I like to teach people. And imagine you see a stop sign and you stop, plant your feet. And then you say to yourself, what is the best thing to say at this point in this time? And it's amazing how your mind will, in most cases, come out with the right thing. It's giving yourself, you do it in seconds. It's just planting your feet and going, I'm here. I'm going to stop. My mind is going to, and you just ask, what is the best thing to say? And it's amazing how your unconscious mind or your subconscious mind sees and hears everything and is very aware of every little nuance. There's so many things going on. Your conscious part or your frontal part of your brain can't process it all, but your subconscious does. And so it knows exactly what to say. Yeah.
I've learned, along with the stop, a lot of people put communication now. A lot of people is electronically, so email or text. But I know see a lot of people, they'll write out the whole angry message and then erase it and then say like something like "Okay, thank you" or whatever at the end of it. But they'll vent themselves to death on their phone or on a keyboard, and then it's almost like the stop sign. What should I say? But they're saying all this other stuff, vent, and then let something else out.
That's a really good thing to do too, because you're getting it out, and by getting it out, you realize you don't really mean that.
Right. So almost like taking a deep breath in, I'm letting it out.
Exactly.
One time I was in Afghanistan, and me and another leader were having a hard time dealing with each other, a hard-headedness. Two guys trying to do the same thing with the same goal but different approaches, and neither one of us wanted to listen to each other. So another leader came in and said, "You know what? Why don't you two just sit down and have a Coke?" I don't want to sit down. I don't want a Coke. It's hot out here. I don't want a Coke. He said, "Just go have a Coke with him." And he told him the same thing. And me and him sat down. We drank a Coke and we talked out our issues. And our issues weren't getting the success. Our issues was just listening to each other.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't want to hear each other because we were two different dudes. And so hard-headed, we didn't want to do that. It just took us sitting down in a room, just me and him, to get that worked out and have success on our base. And sometimes that's another tool that I've learned to use along.
Yes, if you just sit down, and especially if you talk about something other than what you're dealing with for a few moments, and then it's like it settles your mind and allows you to be more open to the possibility of working together and coming up with something even better. Because when two people work together, the result is usually much better than one person would have come up with. Right? And I'll bet that's what happened in that situation. I'll bet the result was better than what either one of you would have done.
I think it was better than either one of us ever dreamed of, I guess, at that point. Or we both had these crazy plans in our heads of what was going to happen. But when we came together, something much better happened. Much bigger team came of it, and a much stronger team came of it. So it was a lot of good came out of it, and we still had to have Coke.
And you still had the Coke.
You said you took you read a lot of self-help stuff, or you took some self-help courses. What's one of the top books or courses that you took?
Actually, I took a top course I took was called Verbal Aikido, and it's a verbal communication program. And it basically was the foundation for a lot of the things that I teach. That probably was one of the best courses. I took also, have you ever heard of a company called Landmark? It's around the world.
I probably have.
They offer some incredible courses, and I took quite a few courses through Landmark as well. And then there are many other little courses I took everywhere. When my former husband and I had children, we realized that we both came from dysfunctional families, and we didn't want to bring that in. So we took every parenting course that we could find, and then we basically developed our own parenting course from all of them so that we could raise our children in the way that we wanted to. And I have 3 grown children that I'm really proud of, and they're both they're all 3 of them are happy, and they're doing what they love. So I figure I can't ask for anything better. So, but it was the willingness to realize, if we want to make a change, we have to learn something new. And it's the same way with whether it's in a relationship or whether it's with your spouse or your coworker. It's all about learning something new so that you can make a change. Because if you don't learn something new, you're going to fall back into what the old habits are. You're smiling.
Everyone does it. They'll try something new, and if they don't stick with it they say it takes 21 days for a habit to form, or some number like that of doing something that often. If you don't do it that often, then all of a sudden you just fall right back to the old habit you had that wasn't working at the beginning, that forced you to go to try something new. And they say that didn't work because I didn't think it was going to work, so I stopped. Mm-hmm. Nothing will work if you don't give it the full try and let things actually work out, and let the bad habits work out of your system. The good habits come in.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes those habits you want to change, they may take 60 or 90 days even. If they're really super ingrained in you, and especially if there's something maybe that's been ingrained since childhood, it's going to take a while to work on them. And the positive thing about working on them is you always meet new people, you make new friends, and you discover amazing things about yourself.
Brother commenting on what you said before about the subconscious, said his subconscious doesn't work that well. He doesn't think his works that well.
It works way better than you realize. Otherwise, you wouldn't know. That's the whole point of your subconscious. You don't even know it's working.
You don't even know what's going on in there sometimes. So, you gotta let it happen. You hit a point there where you wanted to make sure you're parenting correctly, and then I think the wellness of the whole core of the family has to come into part of that context as well. What is family wellness, and why should families care about that?
Okay. When I talk about family wellness, I'm talking about sort of like all of the things that encompass being part of a family. So it's about what you're feeding your kids, what kind of activities you're doing, how you're communicating. Something that's very important and sometimes is missing is treating your children and everyone around you with dignity and respect, even when you're angry. Because when you treat people with dignity, they feel worthy. And when you treat them with respect, they feel that they can speak and that they can have a conversation, and it's okay because they'll still be respected, even if you agree to disagree. And I think that those things are really important basis for communication. And then from there, then there's all kinds of things to think about, like with children, they will always give you a second chance. It's one of the things we worry about with our children, that we're making mistakes. We're really lucky because kids they love us so much automatically. We don't have to do anything for them, and they still love us, and they will always give us another chance. So making a mistake, we can always come back and fix. And when you're talking to children, there's different ways to get information out, whether it's actually, this works on adults too. When you're having a conversation with someone and they stop, and maybe it's a teenager who's trying to decide if they want to tell you the rest, or maybe it's a young child that can't remember, or an adult that is just sort of gets lost in thought. If you use the word and so, that's it, those two words, then that brings people out and helps them say what they need to say. Or the other thing is just repeating the last sentence. And those things work really well. Yeah, those things work really well on everyone, particularly on teenagers, and young children, because they're more open. An adult might block it. However, if you say it again, they're usually, if you're having a really casual conversation, then usually that works very well. The other thing is being present. Do you know what I mean by that?
Actually being involved with their lives and being there when they're talking as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's one of the things that we have is when we're having a conversation, you notice how your mind wanders, or you're thinking about the answer and they haven't finished their conversation. So being present means that you're focused on what they're saying and you're hearing what they're saying. And it's one of the things, because we have so many distractions in our society, it's one of the things that is, we're losing that ability to be present. Would you like to know a little exercise that I do with kids? And I have one I do with adults as well that works really well. So with kids, you get them to sit with their knees together and you'll have them look at each other for 1 minute. Just no talking. You can giggle, you can laugh a little bit, but no talking. And then after, you tell each other what you see. And it's amazing. Adults do it too, and they giggle and laugh. But kids have a blast with it. They just love it. And it teaches them to be present, to notice things, right? And with adults, you have a conversation, but there's a trick to the conversation. So you ask questions, and you have to listen to the answer, and you ask another question based on what they've said. And even if they ask you your opinion, you don't let them know, and you don't let them know what you're doing either. So, and you start out, if you're someone that has a lot of difficulty being present, you start out with 5 or 10 minutes, and you work your way up to an hour. And once you're at a point where you can talk to somebody and ask them questions based on what they have already said, you are extremely present. You're aware. you're noticing all kinds of nuances and things that you would have never noticed before. And you have made a friend for life. Yeah.
I'm gonna try that out with the little one around here that doesn't listen. So I'll sit knees to knees.
How old is your little one?
5.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
5.
5. Oh,
5 years old.
They're wonderful. That's a wonderful age.
Yes, she's a lot of fun.
She
has a lot of things she talks about. It's great. So we see over your right shoulder vital link there. Tell us a little bit about the vital link, what it is, and what made you, I guess, create it and get it out in the world.
Okay. So the Vital Link is a book that I've written, and it's called The Vital Link: 9 Ways to Have More Health, Wealth, and Happiness. And there are 9 chapters in it, and each chapter talks about a different area of your life that helps create vitality. And and I designed the book so that you can go in, say there's a chapter on happiness, and we're particularly coming out of the pandemic, we're all struggling and trying to get back our joy and our happiness. So there's a chapter that you can go to and just read it. It tells you things like how to get it back, activities. It gives lessons, suggestions to how to get that joy back. And one of the things about it is it gives you an opportunity to practice. And in each chapter, I have activities and suggestions that people can do to learn and to follow through. So there's chapters on belief systems. Like, one of the things that very often we don't realize when we're having a conflict with someone is because we have different belief systems. And when you recognize that, it just changes the whole dynamics. So when you know and when you understand and recognize belief systems in yourself and each other, you can say, okay, well, I believe this and you believe that, and how can we make this work together? Or can we change it, or can we just move on? Those sorts of things are important. So recognizing that, and that's part of learning and growing as an individual, making the changes you want. And it's really important for understanding and communicating with one another. Because if you're talking to someone and they say something and you go, wait a minute, that's a belief. They believe that. And that's counter to what I believe. Can I just let this go and know that we're both entitled to our beliefs? Or do we need to talk about it? And it's kind of one of those, it all comes back to communication. So, and
where can the book be found?
Okay, so actually, I have a special offer for your audience. If they contact me, I will be happy to send them a downloadable copy of the book. And then it'll be coming out on Amazon and Audible soon. But they will be, they can receive a downloadable copy if they contact me. And they can contact me through any of the ways that I think I gave you a list before, my Facebook and LinkedIn and email. Yeah.
Yeah, the Calendly link as well.
Oh, okay. And so I wrote the book because I have been so blessed. I worked in my work. I've been able to help so many people through working as a nurse, through teaching, through coaching. And I've been fortunate to work in many different areas and with many different people. And I wanted to write something that would help people make a difference in their lives, because that's who I am. And so that's why I wrote the book. My mission is to help 1 million people and to grow. And writing the book was one of the ways to do that.
Awesome mission right there. hopefully you can get to a million and beyond and help them
I,
to learn how to
I,
be a better communicator and maybe absorb some of the things in your book and let that spread out. Like you said, we just came out of this pandemic where people can look at each other, they're afraid to stare at each other, thinking that they might die if they look at each other or whatever can happen to you. Now they need to look up those 3 inches from the phones and say, "Hey, hello, how are you?" Smile. So
mhm.
maybe you make that other day. And I'm sure reading the vital link will help them to get over that hump of, I don't know how to talk to people. I don't know how to be happy. I can not have happiness in my family, and maybe all that will spread. That'd be awesome.
And it's important, yeah, and it's important for your mental health to be happy. I mean, and understanding that, yeah, it comes from inside. However, when you're losing it, you can use tools outside to help grow the inside, the happiness that and the joy that comes out. And there's many tools out there. Everything from nutrition, the way you eat, to activities like this is laughing. Believe it or not, is great. So laugh every day. Find something to make you laugh. I watch videos. I have all kinds of things that I do every day to make me laugh or dance. Dancing is amazing. Do you like to dance? I know guys often don't like dancing. Do you like to dance?
Yeah, I grew up dancing. Our family is we're Italian, so we dance at all events and stuff.
All right.
Have
And
a
now
good time.
don't you find that after you dance you feel great?
Yes,
Yeah, you do.
unless
You
I'm
feel
real tired.
no, it's true. It's actually one of the things that helps you bring joy because you feel that joy inside from dancing. It stimulates all your happy hormones. Think of it that way. So all those are all some sort of cool things that you can do just like off the cuff, and then there's more that you
Awesome.
can help yourself with. And so, and my book is kind of my pride and joy. I wanted to be a writer since I was a very little girl, and it took me until, well, many, many years. My children were all grown and gone by the time I actually wrote the book. So it is very much my pride and joy because it was something I wanted to do for so many years, and it's out there, and I'm hoping that it's going to help a million people or more.
That would be great. And hopefully you can hopefully have a little ticker. Maybe you can show it on your website, the ticker of people that you've helped. Kind of like the
Oh,
clocks people on things, a little ticker.
that's a great idea. I like that. I'm going to do that.
All
Yeah.
right.
All right.
You don't even have to give us credit.
I will definitely give you credit. I promise I'll give you credit.
All right. Sharon, what's 3 things you think a family can do right now to maybe make the steps in the right direction to have a better family unit?
Eat together. Even and find a way. You say you have a family member that's always traveling, pick one meal that you're going to eat together. It might end up being eating on a Zoom call, but find a way to eat together. Laugh together. It's really important that you laugh together. And do activities together. One of the really important things for parents to do is when their children do something, don't show how upset you are on the outside, because you'll never hear the end. You'll never hear the whole story. I call it be matter of fact. Like an example would be, so you know that your insides are screaming, why did you do that? Your outside needs to be, and can you tell me why you decided to do that? Was there something you thought would be great? Like, and your inside is still going like, I'm gonna kill this, but you will get the story, and majority of the time your kids will tell you they really thought that it wasn't going to work out that way. They really thought it was going to turn out fine, and if they knew that they weren't that they were going to get into trouble, they will very often tell you that they understood the consequences and they're ready for them. And then the consequences become matter of fact. So it's becomes something that they know and expect, and it's going to improve the relationship with you, because you didn't get upset and angry. You were matter of fact. You can go scream in the car later if you want, because I know sometimes you have a 5-year-old, wait till she's 15. There are some times. So yes, I think that that would be very important, is to eat together, do activities together, be matter of fact. And then maybe a fourth thing would be treat them, no matter what, treat your children with dignity and respect.
Great advice right there. And hopefully the audience listened to that and wrote it down. If not, you can come back and listen to this show anytime you want on our YouTube channel, of course. And it will come out, I believe, in mid-July. It'll come out on audio form as well. But all great advice. I had one question I had starred, and I forgot to ask you in the beginning. I even have it on your name there. Why do they call you Mary Poppins of Family Wellness?
Actually, that was a friend, a couple of friends of mine coined that because she said that I'm always happy. and no matter what, even if I don't have the answer, I will go find it for you. And that's why they said that. I will. That's one of the reasons how come I've learned so many different ways to coach people and different coaching styles, is because I went and I had a client who needed something I didn't have, so I went and learned it for them. So,
wow. Awesome. Sharon, this has been great chatting with you for the last half hour plus. I know the audience got stuff out of it. They're chiming in, liking in the comments and such. So that'll help our listeners on the radio station About Face Radio. I know they'll come in later with questions because there's somehow filter a lot later. And I'll if I can't answer, I'm going to send it to you. But thank you for taking this time tonight from Toronto, Canada, to hang out with us here on the Misfit Nation and spread some great knowledge to our audience.
Thank you very much. It's been my pleasure to be here.
Have a great night.
You too.
This message is from the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. Did you serve in the military? If so, you can obtain a free lifetime pass to more than 2,000 federal recreation sites. These sites are located across more than 400 million acres of public lands, including national parks, wildlife refuges, and forests. The lands host activities to fit any lifestyle: hiking, biking, fishing, camping, and much more. Gold Star families are also eligible for these free lifetime passes. Plus, they cover entrance fees for a driver and all passengers in a car, or up to 3 additional adults at sites that charge per person. Obtaining one is easy. Just go to the National Park Service website, nps.gov, or the National Park Service app.
Thanks for checking us out and being a part of the Misfit Nation show. Don't forget to visit our website at themisfitnation.com. That's themisfitnation.com. Check out all our past episodes and get some of the great Misfit Nation gear for you and your family. As always, be humble, stay hungry, and keep hustling, because we are
Misfit Nation. Misfit Nation.